Hello, welcome to Think and Grow Rich. Good morning, Geraldine.
Andy.
Hey. Oh, it looks lovely where you are. You're outside.
I am. I'm by the beach today. It's so
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, we can see the water.
Yeah.
How did you do that? Are you on your phone, or are you can you see it from where
No,
you
I'm
live?
just. We have a mobile home just on the beach, like so. I'm just outside the mobile home here.
Oh my
Nice.
goodness, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, and hi Tracy.
Good morning. I got to set up my umbrella. Be right back.
Okay, sure. And hi Glenn.
Good morning, all.
Hello. It feels
Morning.
like it's been a while since we did this because we didn't do Friday, so
Yeah.
I'm glad everyone's here. So today, actually, what we're doing is we're not reading from the book. If this is your first time watching or you're new, we basically read from Think and Grow Rich for a little while, and then just share anything inspirational that's relevant to what we just read. So today, we're reading from lecture notes, which were a series of lectures Napoleon did about your right to be rich. And now we can hear
Sorry.
the parasol show from Tracy. You might want to mute yourself. um, that's okay. The Sound and Light Show. So if anyone wants to come into the Hangout, well, after we've started, you can just mute yourself because otherwise we get like what's happening right now. Because the microphone will pick up every sound that your side makes. So I just uploaded the lecture notes. It's actually I've got 5 documents. And I uploaded the first one to the group just before. Oh, actually, I just wanted to share something, guys. I got an amazing message about our group at the weekend from a friend of mine who watches it, and she wanted to remain anonymous, but I'm just going to read out her message because it was so beautiful. And if you're watching, I suspect you might be, then thank you so much for sending it because it was so beautiful. So she said, I just wanted to share what an amazing impact your group has had on me. The session on the 3rd and 4th of June in particular, I was in hospital waiting to give birth to my son. And it's something I've wished for ever since he is born, to have a natural birth. I had all the preparation for it, but there was a huge fear. And then it was just one sentence that I think Glenn said, you just have to decide. So I did, capital letters, multiple exclamation marks. And she says, so there I was. I also prayed a lot as I do believe in God, and I knew I had it covered, but there was something I needed to do in order to trust God, that he was doing his major bit. And I asked for all the right people in at the right time that could be there to support me, and they were. I just needed to move from fear to decision, and the rest took care of itself. So to cut a long story short, I had my baby. It was just the most empowering thing I have done for a long time. And as a woman, I really needed to experience this. So a major thank you. And so then it's kind of more personal stuff, but I just thought I'd let you
Wow.
all hear that because it was
That's
amazing.
Did she name the baby Glenn or Napoleon?
I
or
actually
how about
asked
Tracy?
I don't know if I was even reading that day. We'll see. My
Tracy,
voice
by the
isn't that
way,
powerful. Tracy will go either way. That's true.
Oh yeah, that's
Tracy, your lemonade video was very Chaplin-esque.
Oh,
that
thanks.
was excellent.
It was. It was. I was actually. I went out because there was a thunderstorm that was coming, and it was coming fast, and
Yeah.
somehow it went around me. I didn't get any rain. I was
Yeah,
waiting
well,
to get
see.
rained on. That was going to be like the highlight of the whole video.
Oh,
To just sit there like drenched in rain.
yeah.
And,
Just coming down.
it didn't happen.
Oh,
So,
cool. Well, well done for doing that. It was such a great video.
well, and
It was-
thank you,
Shared a
Glenn, for
lot.
your support.
Yeah, you're welcome. I saw like 3 or 4 of my friends have shared it too. So it's finding its way around the world.
It's had something like 79 shares already. Twitter, Facebook, etc.
Great. Yeah,
Cool.
very good.
So I was just waiting for the money to roll in.
If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, who watches, it's a video because we have to remember it's not just us. There's like people that
Right.
watch this from who don't know exactly what we're doing. Um, so Tracy made a video for a funding campaign that he created, and it's very hysterical. If you want to watch it, friend him on Facebook. He's in the Facebook group, and go to his wall. It's there, isn't it, Tracy?
Yeah, it's all over my wall. There, you
Yeah.
and you linked it, Karen linked it. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Okay. Oh, Jackie's
Thank you,
just coming in. So, would someone like to read in particular, or?
You put me in the mood to read.
Okay,
Hey, that's
cool.
great.
The
And
only thing I have to
I
quickly
did actually.
download the file, Tracy. Oh, I sent it to you actually, didn't I, before?
It says your right to be rich,
Yeah, and it's 1 of 9.
right? I got it.
You got it.
And for everyone who's listening, I did record and edit the first. Well, I recorded the first 4 chapters of Think and Grow Rich, and I edited the first 2 chapters, and it's in smaller chunks, so you can, stop now and then. Instead of the only audios I've been able to find of it are like 10 hours straight, so I did it in each chapter is in 2 or 3 chunks.
That's
Anyway,
good.
I'll put links soon, but let's get on with the show. Oh, right, screen share. Hi.
Yeah. So this is the lecture note is Your Right to Be Rich. And this was actually, these are notes from Napoleon himself. And thank you also to the friend on YouTube who sent these to me. I'm not sure, I don't think he's watching, but...
Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Your right to be rich. Let's break down the lesson on definiteness of purpose and see exactly what it means. Why, it's the starting point of all achievement. Because it is the starting point of all individual achievements, a definite purpose must be accompanied by a definite plan for its attainment, followed by appropriate action. You have to have a purpose, you have to have a plan, and you have to start putting that plan into action. It's not too important that your plan be sound. You can always modify your plan. It is very important that you be definite about what it is you're going after. What's your purpose? That must be very definite. There can be no ifs or ands about it. Just to understand this philosophy or to read it wouldn't be of much value to you. The value will come when you begin to form your own patterns out of this philosophy and put it in your daily lives, or in your business or profession, or in your human relations. That's where the benefits will really come. The second premise: all individual achievements are the results of a motive or a combination of motives. You have no right to ask anybody to do anything at any time without giving that person an edict with motive. The ability to plant in the mind of the prospective buyer an edict with motive for his buying. Learning to deal with people by planting in their minds edict with motives for their doing the things you want them to do. There are a lot of people who call themselves salesmen who have never heard of the 9 basic motives, who do not know that they have no right to ask for a sale until they have planted a motive in the buying of the buyer for his buy. Did you all get that? The third premise: any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought. Let me read that sentence again. The third premise: any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought. Any dominating idea, plan, or purpose held in the mind through repetition of thought and emotionalized with a burning desire for its realization is taken over by the subconscious section of the mind and acted upon through whatever natural and logical means that may be available. If you want the mind to pick up an idea and form a habit so that the mind will automatically act upon that idea, you've got to tell the mind what you want over and over and over again. No end to it. When Mr. Coué came up with his famous formula, day by day, in every way, I'm getting better and better, he cured thousands of people, but a very great number more than that he didn't cure because there was no desire or no feeling put into that statement. You might just as well blow in the wind as to make a statement unless you put some feeling into it, unless you believe it. Incidentally, if you tell yourself anything often enough, you'll get to where you will believe it, even a lie. There are people who tell little white lies, and sometimes they're not so white at that, until they get to where they believe them themselves. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between right or wrong. It doesn't know the difference between positive or negative. It doesn't know the difference between a penny or $1,000,000. It doesn't know the difference between success and failure. It'll accept any statement that you keep repeating to it by thoughts or by words or by any other meanings. Incidentally, it's up to you in the beginning to lay out your definite purpose. Write it out so that it can be understood. Memorize it. Start repeating it day in and day out until your subconscious mind picks it up and automatically acts upon it. This will take a little time. You can't expect to undo overnight what you've been doing to your subconscious mind back down through the years by allowing negative thoughts to get into it. You will find that if you emotionalize any plan that you send over to your subconscious mind and repeat it in the state of enthusiasm and back it up with a spirit of faith, if you do that, the subconscious mind not only acts more quickly, but it acts more definitely and more positively. The fourth premise: any dominating desire, plan, or purpose which is backed by that state of mind known as faith is taken over by the subconscious section of the mind if acted upon immediately. That state of mind is the only state of mind that will produce immediate action through the subconscious mind. When I say faith, I don't have reference to wishing, hoping, or mildly believing. I don't have reference to any of those things. I have reference to a state of mind wherein whatever it is that you're going to do, you can already see it, already in a finished act, before you even begin it. I can truthfully tell you that not ever in my whole life have I undertaken to do anything that I didn't do it unless I got careless in my desire to do it. I've never failed to do anything that I made up my mind to do. You can put yourself into a frame of mind where you do whatever you make up your mind to do, unless you weaken as you go along, as so many people do. Even if you do understand faith, if you don't back it up with action and make it a part of your habit life, you might just as well not understand it, because faith without deeds is dead. Faith without action is dead. Faith without absolute positive belief is dead. I don't know how you're going to get any results through believing unless you put some action back in that belief. Incidentally, if you tell your mind often enough that you have faith in anything, the time will come when your subconscious mind will accept that. Even if you tell your mind often enough that you have faith in yourself. Have you ever thought what a nice thing it would be if you had such complete faith in yourself that you wouldn't hesitate to undertake anything you wanted to do in life? Have you ever thought about what a benefit that would be to you? Do you know how many people there are who sell themselves short all the way through life because they don't have the right amount of confidence, let alone faith? Give a guess as to the percentage. 98. It's somewhere between 98 and 100. The margin who do are so small that I wouldn't begin to guess exactly what it is. They accept from life whatever life hands them. Isn't it a strange thing how nature works? She gives you a set of tools, everything that you need to attain all that you can use or aspire to have in this world. She rewards you bountifully for accepting and using those tools. That's all you have to do, is accept them and use them. She penalizes you beyond compare if you don't accept them and use them. Nature hates vacuums and idleness. She wants everything to be in action. Especially does she want the human mind to be in action. The mind is not different from any other part of the body. If you don't use it, if you don't rely upon it, it withers away and finally gets to where anybody can push you around. Anybody. Oftentimes you don't have the willpower to resist or even protest when people push you around. The fifth premise. The power of thought is the only thing over which any human being has complete, unquestionable means of control. A fact so astounding that it connotes a close relationship between the mind of man and infinite intelligence. There are only 5 known things in the whole universe. Those 5 have shaped everything in existence, from the smallest electrons and protons of matter on up to the largest sun that floats out there in the heavens, including you and me. Just 5 things. There's time and there's space. there's energy, and there's matter. And those four things would be no good without the fifth thing. Everything would be chaos. We could have never existed without that fifth thing. It's a universal intelligence. It reflects itself in every blade of grass, everything that grows out of the ground, and all the protons and electrons of matter. It reflects itself in space, in time, and in everything that is, there's intelligence operating all the time. The person who is most successful is the one who finds ways and means of appropriating most of this intelligence through his brain and putting it into action. This intelligence permeates the whole universe: space, time, matter, energy, and everything else. Every individual has the privilege of appropriating through his or her own use as much of this intelligence as he or she chooses. They can only appropriate it by using it. Just understanding it or believing it is not enough. You've got to put it into specialized use, into some form. Follow this blueprint. Don't just pick out that part of it which you like best and discard the others. Take it all as is. The sixth premise. The subconscious section of the mind appears to be the one doorway of individual approach to infinite intelligence. Study that language very carefully. I said it appears to be. I don't know if it is. I doubt if you do. I doubt if anyone knows definitely. The basis of approach is faith based upon definiteness of a purpose. Do you have any idea why it is that you don't have as much confidence in yourself as you should have? Have you ever stopped and thought about that? Have you ever stopped to think about why it is when you see an opportunity come along, you begin to question your ability to embrace it and use it? Doesn't it happen every day? If you've had a chance to be closely associated with people who are successful, you'll know that is one thing that they are not bothered by. If they want to do something, it never occurs to them they can't do it. I hope that in your association with Napoleon Hill Associates, you come to know my distinguished business associate, Mr. W. Clement Stone, better, because if I ever saw a man that knows the power of his mind, that is willing to rely upon that mind, Mr. Stone is that man. I don't think Mr. Stone has any worries. I don't believe he would tolerate a worry. I don't believe he would tolerate a worry. I think it would be an insult to his intelligence if he recognized anything was worrying him. Should I stop there? Or should I keep going?
Sorry, Tracy. Could you just finish the story about this guy, and then we can
sure.
stop?
I wasn't sure if it was going to keep going on and on. Okay.
No, it's really short.
Did I just make my... Okay.
You could just read the next paragraph, and then we can stop.
I think it would be an insult to his intelligence if he recognized anything was worrying him. Why? Because he has confidence in his ability to use his mind and to make that mind create the circumstances that he wants created. And that's the condition and operation of any successful mind. That's going to be the condition of your mind when you get through with this philosophy. You're going to be able to project your mind into whatever objective you choose, and there will never be any question in your mind as to whether you can do what you want to do or not. Never a question in the world.
I feel like we should just keep reading it just a tiny bit more, if that's okay.
The first radio and broadcasting receiving set was the one that exists in the brain of man. Not only does it exist in the brain of man, but it exists in a great many animals. Napoleon had a couple of Pomeranian dogs. They knew exactly what he was thinking, sometimes before even he knew. They were so smart. They knew when he went for a car ride whether or not they were going without saying a word, because the dogs were in constant attunement with him. Your mind is sending out vibrations constantly. If you're a salesman and you're going to call on a prospective buyer, the sales ought to be made before you ever come into presence of the buyer. Have you ever thought of that? If you're going to do anything that requires the cooperation of other people, condition your mind so that you know the other fella is going to cooperate. Why? First, because the plan you're going to offer him or her is so fair, honest, and beneficial to him or her that she or he can't refuse it. I think I'm just going to stick to the text. In other words,
you can just use they, otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah.
In other words, you have a right to their cooperation. You'd be surprised to know what a change there will be in people when you convince them that over this broadcasting station of yours, positive thoughts instead of thoughts of fear. If you want a good illustration of how this broadcasting station works, you need $1,000 real badly, and you go down to the bank somewhere, and you've got to have that $1,000 by the day after tomorrow, or they're going to take the car back, or the furniture, or something else. You just have to have that $1,000. The banker can tell the moment you walk inside that door that you just have to have it, and he doesn't want you to have it. Isn't that funny? No, it's not funny. It's tragic. You carry the matches around in your pocket that often sets your own house on fire. Napoleon used to teach salesmanship. He made his living that way for a long time while he was doing the research on this philosophy. If there's one thing that has to be solid, it's life insurance. Nobody ever buys life insurance. It has to be sold. The first thing he taught those people under his direction was that they must make the sale to themselves before they try to make it to the other fellow. If they don't do that, they're not going to make the sale. Somebody might buy something from them, but they'll never make a sale unless they first make it to themselves. Every brain is a broadcasting station and a receiving set. You can attune that brain so it will attract only the positive vibrations released by other people. By habit, you can train your own mind to pick up all of that myriad of vibrations that are floating out there constantly. Train your mind to pick up only the things that are related to what you want most in life. How do you do that? You do that by keeping your mind on what you want most in life. Your definite major purpose, so by repetition, by thought, by action, until finally the brain will not pick up anything not related to that definiteness of purpose. You can educate your brain so that it will absolutely refuse to pick up any vibrations except those related to what you want. When you get your brain under control like that, you'll be on the path. Really and truly on the beam.
We could stop there, Trace, if you want.
Right?
Yeah, there's not really, it's just like a big long chapter, so I'm just going to remember that we're on page 7.
Yeah, and the
Page
fact that it
7.
was transcribed makes it a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it's still
Because
interesting though.
it's in colloquial speech, and you know it was transcribed without the ers and ums and hms and whatever, and so there's a
Yeah,
lot of incomplete and run-on sentences. So just deal with the stuttering.
but did everyone understand it? Was it okay for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
See
I
what
really
he's-
like the part about the worry. To take
Yeah,
the,
me
You need to
too.
be confident enough to get the worry out of your life.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
I like what he says about the guy that it would be an insult for him to
Yeah.
worry.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't W. Clement Stone the mentor of Bob Proctor?
I have never heard of him.
It's the big company.
Yeah, there was Earl Nightingale was
Earl Nightingale. I think so. Yeah.
But I think Stone might have been involved too. I'm not sure, Tracy. You know.
Ah.
There was like a straight line of these guys. Well, sort of a staggered line, but yeah, W. Clement Stone. He was the guy who, after Napoleon Hill, he was the guy who found the future gurus,
Yeah.
the Earl Nightingales and Bob Proctor. I think Bob Proctor did work with him in the '60s until he died.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So did anyone
Bob
else?
Proctor is really interesting, you know.
And a fellow Canadian, huh?
Yeah, yeah, very interesting guy. In fact, he has an abundance meditation that he put up like in February or something like that on YouTube, abundance meditation, and do it for 30 days. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing to do. I recommend it.
Yeah. I think I know which one you mean. I think I shared that one. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, and he's like, I can share the link to it. I think I uploaded it to my Facebook page.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah.
I'll try to get my tomato plants to do it this summer.
Sure.
Well, they have an intelligence too, you know.
Yeah, I compliment them every day.
Yes, good. Yeah, they say it's good to talk to them, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Did anything else come up for anyone as we were at any ideas or inspiration?
Well,
I,
I found it quite inspiring that he was saying, you know, that you can just train your mind not even to pick up those frequencies, those lower frequencies. I find that very exciting. They're going to get how to do that.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
imagine that your perspective on life would be completely different if you didn't pick up on those heavy frequencies at all, you know. And you
Yeah.
can choose to, you can actually train your mind to do it. I find that inspiring.
that would
Yeah,
be
you
wonderful.
take your mind and put it where your strengths are, right? And manage your weaknesses, right? But put your mind where your strengths are and do those. You know, and put, you know, that's your growth, right? That's your real growth, I think, you know.
Yeah.
I got something also about the third, I think it was the third premise, third premise, the repetition of thought part, and that you convince yourself of
Yeah.
something eventually, whether it's a lie or the truth, whether it's
Yeah.
positive or negative.
Right.
And so
That was interesting.
we spend so much of our lives proving to ourselves the negative.
Yeah.
Looking for data, right? Looking for
Right.
data, right?
Yeah, and like, you know, expecting the least instead of expecting the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Exactly.
if you look for data, you'll find it, right?
Yeah, right. So, you know.
And I liked what he said about before you do something, just see yourself having already done it. Because I've heard that quite a lot in when it comes to athletes or people doing kind of training themselves to do some kind of sport. They a lot of them like visualize winning the race or like doing the race and in their mind. So it's not just physically doing it, but they also like the guy that broke the 4 minute record for the running a mile
Yes.
in the
Right.
50s. He did this too. He would visualize running it in the time that he wanted. So it wasn't just what he was doing out on the track, which probably wasn't in the record, but he was like training himself to see it before it actually happened with his body. So this is like something that really works.
In the book, The Magic of Thinking Big, it's by David Schwartz. I think there's a lot of audios available. He talks about how athletes do this, and I think he was involved. I could be getting these guys mixed up. I've got so many of them in my head. About he was involved in the Olympic training in the early '80s with athletes, and that they hooked them up to electrodes and had them visualize the race, and like electrodes all over their body, and their muscles would fire while they were sitting still imagining the race, the same as their muscles would fire. It would
Wow.
give off signals to the brain, the same as it would during a race. That's why they're Olympic athletes and I'm not.
Well, are any of you doing the reading your statements? You know, from the earlier chapters. Is anyone regularly doing the auto suggestion? You know, where you read something about your targets every day.
No, I haven't
do.
done that.
Ah,
One of
You
the
know,
things
now
I
that
like in this thing is the part about where he says that know what you want, have a plan to get it, and have your mind occupied mostly with securing the plan. Some plans won't work. When you find out that your plan is not right, just discard it immediately and get another one. Like I like the way he talked. Like to me, that's like pivot. You just need to pivot and keep positive.
yeah.
Yes.
just-
Yes. Yeah, evolve, right? Evolve. Yes.
Yeah.
It's evolutionary, right? You know, you do evolve towards your objective, you know.
and along with the evolving part, it kind of relates back to the plan, the purpose, the intention statement. I guess I stopped reading mine stopped reading it consistently about a month ago, but stopped looking at it just like 3 days ago because the goals that were in the plan are coming up, and I haven't met them. They're kind of on the high side, and I feel like, oh, why bother? But I know I should bother. So I'm just going to reformat the statement, change the date, move it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched
Because
a hangout with someone who is doing very well, and she spoke about this, and she spoke about how she she would just change the date. She was like, sometimes people feel bad because they don't hit the target or they feel like they're failing, but she was like, it doesn't matter. At least you're still getting much more clear than most people.
Yes.
And she kept just changing the date. And then what she also did was she wrote out, and I've done this too. I stopped reading my statement because I just couldn't get that excitement. Like he speaks about when you have to be enthusiastic, and I would read it and it just was very flat. Yeah. Even if I sat there and tried to imagine exactly it happening. So then I switched to, I wrote out the day when I hit my target, and I just wrote out exactly what happens from start to finish, before I even know I've done it. And I go and I look and I realize I've done it, and then I'm like, oh my God, and I dance around and I do all this stuff. And every single time I read that, I can feel the energy of it so much. And I noticed, I kind of fell off the wagon of reading it the past few days because I was packing and moving, and I read it again this morning. I was like, I kissed it after. I was like, oh yeah, you're so good. This one little piece of paper is so powerful. Every single time I read it, I feel like I'm reading a magician's spell because I feel different afterwards, and and I didn't put a date on that one actually, which is probably, oh no, I think I did. Yeah, I have put a date. So, but that might help if, just change. Don't be afraid to change the dates and make sure that it resonates with you. It's not just kind of, because what Napoleon wrote is quite dry. So.
Well, yeah, but he said to emotion. Oh, right, his description of the
he
intention
just
statement.
used the basic statement. It's very kind of, I will have made this by this date, and most of us don't really get excited by a chunk of money. You get excited by what it represents, what you'll be able to do, how you'll feel, and that's what you want to have in your statement, I think.
And I think one of the people in The Secret, I think it was in The Secret, the movie, he talked about getting excited when you read it, like shout, yell, shout. And you're lucky, Sandy, that you're just living with Chico right now, because nobody's going to think you're insane.
Well,
you could run around the house shouting your intention statement, going woo, dance naked if you want. If I did that, I think I'd be locked up pretty quickly.
Well,
But that's why I drive out to the vineyards. I drive out to the vines and just like make all the noise I want. And the farmers have got their equipment. They can't hear me anyway. Who cares? And I speak English. They don't know what the hell I'm saying.
But it makes a difference, all of this, because I spent some time with some friends recently who have jobs, very sort of classic life, like they go every morning for 9 o'clock, finish at 5, and don't seem massively happy, to be honest. And we were talking, and one of them was kind of a bit of an entrepreneur too, and I was saying, have you made any targets for your new business, for what you're doing? And they were like, no. And I was like, oh, well, what would you like it to do? And she's like, well, I'm just sort of seeing how it goes. And I think that's exactly what Napoleon is talking about when he said, most people just take what life gives them instead of demanding exactly what they would like.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure if this person actually sat down and got the numbers and worked out exactly what they would want, it would happen at some point. But they're just kind of coasting along. It's really interesting.
So she's pushed her boat offshore, climbed in, and just sat and waited. Basically,
yeah. I was amazed. And I was like, well, and then sort of when I was saying, well, what would you like it ideally, like roughly? What would you need it to create for you? And then she was like, well, but I just don't know. I mean, there's so many different things. I couldn't possibly predict it all. And I was like, well, you don't have to predict every single step. You don't have to, you just have to sort of at least choose a destination, and you don't have to know exactly all the waves that will take you there as you cross that ocean, but you have to at least know where you want to go. So this what we do.
You've got a dream too, right? You've got a dream.
Yeah, exactly. And so many people don't.
Fantasize.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a question from Neil Messenger who says, "Is this live?" Yes, it is.
Somebody hold up a newspaper proving proof of life.
Yeah. Oh, but we're coming up to time now, so thanks everyone for coming out. And thank you for reading, Tracy.
No problem. And one last thing I'm going to add. I think we should all. I'm going to adopt a theme song. We should all have a theme song
Oh,
that motivates us.
yeah.
That'd
Yeah.
be great. Just keep it in your head all the time. And I don't like
Yeah.
cheesy music, but like if you guys like cheesy music, I Believe I Can Fly. Just keep that in your head.
Oh, that's a great one. That's
For
a
me,
great
it's just too like I don't know, or The Wind Beneath My Wings, or something like that. But
Yeah.
Everybody fly today, right?
yeah,
Exactly. All right, everyone.
talk
Thank
to
you
you
for
guys
listening.
later.
Now we're all going to have R. Kelly in our head all morning. Tracy.
Yeah, I totally apologize.
I better end things here.
But that's okay. We're all gonna fly today. I'm good with that. If I have to be
Excellent.
stuck in my head to get where I need to go to the next step, I'll take it.
There you go.
So glad I got
Good
up
for
this
you.
morning. You
All
guys
right,
are.
everyone, go touch the sky.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.